and that Max Caster match from Max Caster's AEW. Max Caster is getting a lot of attention. I love the fact that it was like a 10,000K match, which is always nice to have that gimmick in there. And what was that like being trusted? Because obviously Max Caster comes in and out, Shakru connection with, Beyond Wrestling Open, and even to get that spotlight on you, because that's a big spotlight, and there's a lot of trust that has to be instilled in you to be put into that, saying, "Hey, I could deliver a hell of a match with him," and I mean, it's obviously got attention, and so that's also really cool. So, what was even just the mentality of it, I guess?
Talk about adrenaline, but kick through another level because like every time I go out, I'm always hyped up. I always have the adrenaline kicked in, but I think the adrenaline was such at an override that again, like you were saying, I have to put on a hell of a match because this isn't AEW Dark where it's boom 1 2 3 whatever. This is like I get to wrestle on IWTV with now one half of the AEW World Tag Champions, and it's the fact that we had such a good match, and the mentality going in is that it's like okay, the adrenaline's kicking in, and yes, it's a TV star, but at the end of the day, you have to keep that mentality of like this is just another wrestler. Still show people who you are. So that's what I
Also,
did.
also there was a lot of press surrounding that because obviously, I think this Max Caster's tag partner is openly gay, and that
Mm-hmm.
was getting a lot of attention too. So naturally, anything that Max Caster is associated with, 'cause this just dropped. Obviously, the belts they just won the belts, and so now there's a lot of attention with both those guys. Now he's on Wrestling Open. Now you're wrestling him, which means that attention's on you. And it sounds like a crazy thing, and like we need a flow chart here, but you know that only added to more people watching and paying attention. And obviously, it's a good thing. There's no such thing as bad attention. You know what I mean? And so, it's a high pressure situation.
It is, and I think with that match, it definitely delivered on all aspects because and like I said too, like I've had my fair share of like doing a lot of. I think I've done more pre-show matches on Wrestling Open than Wrestling Open itself. And again, it could be the fact that they don't have a spot for me just yet, and that's totally fine because I respect what Wrestling Open's doing. But the fact that we had this match where they're like, "Hey, let's put Landon in this match with Max," and we put on a match that we could deliver, that was a fun match, and I enjoyed every single bit of it. And it was, and granted, I didn't win the 10K that could help me out with my loans, but at the end of the day, it's all about that match experience, and it just everything flowed so well, and I was so thankful for that match. Like that's one of my favorite matches of this year for sure.